Recording though. Okay. So welcome back to the session. And as we were discussing about the general misconceptions about running such people-specific initiatives in the organization by the cybersecurity, this is what exactly the actual outcome and the message of cybersecurity awareness program towards the people who are actually involved in enhancing the overall awareness the maturity within the staff, non-technical staff in particularly of the organization. The future of cybersecurity is being again misunderstood, which is the technology only, which is not. It is not and it can't be, because the future of cybersecurity are the people empowered with intelligence and automation. As I always say, the next few years, or I shouldn't say always, but as I generally say these days, that the next couple of years or few years are the years of A, B, C. A is for artificial intelligence, B for big data analytics, and C has the twins. The first C is cybersecurity, and the other C is the cloud computing. So future situation, the solutions will be empowered with AI, machine learning, with a lot of bulky data analytics and the data mining techniques with the help of big data solutions. And the whole world is going to the cloud. And yes, we need to protect each and everything. So the whole thing, the whole story is again end to end with people, because at the end, even our highly, in the cybersecurity field, the pen testers, the red teaming leaders, or the SOC managers, everyone is trying to look into the malicious codes, intrusive activities in the networks and everything. They try to start fighting with the systems. Actually, security is not about the systems. It's end of the day, it's about people. The people who actually architect the solutions make sure that they architect the solution with their best knowledge and capacity and capability. It has to be robust, scalable, as well as secured. But on the other side, our hacking gurus, they come and they find some weaknesses on that. So at the end, what they do, they basically have more knowledge, more powerful tools to be used to exploit the weaknesses of the systems which are been not fixed, or which have been not addressed by the real architects. So it's a war between mind to mind. That's why I say, don't get into much of the technologies and tools and codes and malwares and data forensics and all that. It will help you not to lose the right track of common sense. So let's start the next section of the session, which is awareness methodology. Primarily in most of our organizations which are dealing with, or playing a role of cybersecurity, classify the cybersecurity in separate domains. Please accept my apology. I actually forget to ask the questions. Yes, in this slide, I did request to ask the questions if someone have any. I think it's the right time to go for the questions in the middle of the session. So please, you can unmute the mic, state your name and the current role, and you can ask a question.
Yes, my name is Shahbaz Ahmed Mughal. The reason I mentioned my family name is because we have another fellow here, which is Mr. Shahbaz Afzal, I think. So just to differentiate, I mentioned my full name. My question regarding this slide is that, things you have mentioned on the right side, to me, they are more important, but things on left side, they are also important. So why we are calling them misconceptions? like compliance is equally important, if not equally, slightly less equally. And what you know is also important, though what you don't know is also important, more important actually. Behavior is also more important, but at the same time skills are also important. So why you are why have you categorized them as misconceptions?
Thank you for the question. I think it's very relevant and valid question, though. The reason is the misconceptions are because of the same reason that most of our professionals are try or do classify such issues in a technical umbrella. However, running an effective awareness program is primarily focusing on the people side. So right side, if you can see, is are the actually the outcome, not the process itself. What exactly we want to achieve as an objective is represented at the right side. Yes, the left side is important as well, but that is not our primary focus. That is the process from where we want to achieve the right side. Such as skill is important, but what actually we want to achieve out of the skill, that the outcome is what behavior a skilled person shows there. One person who can have a skill of penetrating into your network, but he does not do it diligently, that is his behavior. So that is why, in order to have the successful awareness program delivered and to get the maximum out of it, the behavior is more important. That's why you're right. The left is not, it's important as well, but the primary objective to achieve is presented the right side. I hope I answer your question.
Yeah, in this case, we can rephrase the sentences on the left like it is not only the skill that makes somebody qualified, but it is behavior as well.
I
So the
think
word
that's,
only, if
sorry
added,
to
yeah,
interrupt, but brother, man, that's the choice of the presenter. I felt it,
okay,
that's my choice. So
mm,
next time, or the reason is these wording which I have selected as in result of delivering several cybersecurity awareness programs within the region. So the message which is trying to deliver here is not to highlight the important one which everyone knows. I'm trying to highlight the actual outcome, which is the extremely important. So
yeah, yeah,
phrasing and
Please,
selection of words is very personal. So
no,
I felt it more comfortable this way.
yeah, please allow me to add one line, please. I would
Please
like
go
to
ahead.
answer Mr. Yeah, yeah, thank you very much. Especially to Brother Shehbaz Ahmed Mughal. Skills mostly we consider about the technical users. When we talk about the skills, we assume that we are talking about the technical users. But if you talk about the layman users or any regular users, so normally we see the behavior, how the user is behaving generally in the organization. So I think it's, yes, you're right. Both are equally important. But again, that's a choice of presenter. So hopefully, yeah, it would work in the same way.
yeah,
I think
because
when it's gonna
actually
take
I'm,
us to the same fundamental question, the point which I highlighted. It's on the selection of words. That is, of course, when everyone is free to select his own, the appropriate words to present or deliver the same message. So I think
yeah,
let's move on. Any other questions, brothers, on this slide or next? When I'm surprised that today Salman Chaudhary Saab doesn't have any question. Okay, so let's move on. So primarily, what we can do is, when we talk about the cybersecurity, we talk about cybersecurity into the particular areas, because why, as we said, like when cybersecurity efforts are required to protect the information assets, and that information asset, it could be the data, and that data can be of in different states, um, in different form, I would say. Now, when we talk about the data, if I believe that if any participant who is not aware of the different states of the data, let me just put it, in a more simple way. Data can generally has been classified into three different states, which is one is data in use, generally, which is in applications. And the other state is the data in transit or in motion, which is generally in networks. And the third thing is data at rest, which is generally in the databases or the storages. So why we generally the data is being classified in these categories, because the state of the data is different. That is why the preventive measures or the security controls in each area with respect to each area are different. The network controls, network connections have been dealt or protected in a different way, such as you cannot protect or stop the data to be transmitted from one point to the other, because that's where the covert channels exist, and we need to have the connections working to be able to communicate with the other parties. That is why we apply more the encryption controls and so forth. Similarly, application the data. So the way I classify is not only the data application the network. I particularly classify the cybersecurity into 5 operational domains. One is the most important one, which I usually consider is the people, which is here, the first one. So the people related, I mean, these are some of the core operational areas which I just presented in the slide, which can be classified into these pillars. The very first one is the people, and today we are talking about the security awareness and social engineering, some aspects of it. I'm sorry. So in order to start a cybersecurity awareness program in any organization, that has to be in the form of a project. Project means that every project has to have a starting and ending date, already a clearly defined scope, and a clearly defined outcome. In order to do that, we have to, of course, plan that project in each and every detail to be able to agree and get the approval on the project scope, project deliverable, the starting and ending date, and the project related resources. So these are the standard phases which every project has to go in general, such as very first thing is, I mean, we need to understand the business environment. If we are talking about a bank, the people, the hierarchy, the organization structure, the business dynamics are different. The business norms are different. What are the customers and suppliers are different, whether it's a bank or it's an oil and gas company or it's a trading company or it's a technology company. So we need to understand the business environment here.
Sorry for the interruption. Ahmed Javed sir, can we pause for 2 minutes? We have Azan, actually, it's Azan time.
Yeah. I think, is it over? Because I can't hear.
Yes, please. We can
Yeah,
resume.
can we resume?
Yes, 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 please.
Okay. So coming back to that, any cybersecurity awareness program in the organization has to be in a form of a project, and that project has to be properly planned with clearly defined scope, starting and ending time, and a clearly defined outcome, which is the deliverables. So key phases of any project planning is understanding the business environment, identifying the stakeholders, which means that who actually gonna own this project, who will be the decision maker. Because generally, if you start any project in any organization, as per the leading practices, we form up a project steering committee having a representation from each critical business area, which collectively take a decision on the important aspects of the project. And then we define project schedule and communication plan, the timelines and everything, and then establish a project team, which is basically the project working group. And then we develop the reporting templates, like, every project has to have a weekly or, periodic reporting to the executive group or the steering group. So the templates needs to be used, has to be reviewed and approved by the steering group, and accordingly needs to be used to report the progress of the project. At the end, establish the scope of the project, what exactly needs to be covered and what exactly is a part of the project, and accordingly the deliverables are decided in agreement. The, this slide is representing a very generic form of awareness methodology. What we do to enhance the awareness of the business staff in your organization. Of course, we develop some content to be presented to them. So it is comprising of primarily 5 phases, but I have combined two phases. The next one, the first thing is develop, and then the second thing is review and refine, which is more cyclic in nature, and then at the end, deliver and assess. So first, what we develop, what exactly we want to, we develop the cybersecurity awareness content, and that could be of any form. That could be in form of the presentation slides like this, the one which you're seeing now. That could be stickers, which needs to be sent on the mobile phones. That could be email newsletters. That could be the postmasters. That could be the rolling banners. That could be the videos to be uploaded on the corporate portal to be accessed by everyone. By using all of this different type of content, what exactly we want to do is to enhance the awareness of the people that, yes, gentlemen and ladies, you need to have the passwords complex. You need to keep your password. You don't need to share your passwords with your colleagues. You need to keep your passwords strong and complex by using special characters and so on. Similarly, you don't need to write any sensitive information on your desk. Clear desk policy has to be followed, etc., etc. So once you develop this content, you share it with the subject matter experts of that particular organization you're working for. That could be, of course, the CISO or the related, the people who are in a similar roles. They review the content and they ensure the relevance and the contextually it is correct and it is delivering the right messages which you want to deliver. And then if there are some improvements are required, the review points are generally provided to the team working group, and they fix those issues, and then they refine the content. And then once it's approved, then that content is used to deliver the message that postmasters have been displayed on the walls, roll up banners are displayed on the key positions in your organization, key place in your corners in your organization. videos and such, like the CVTs have been uploaded on the corporate portals, and new regular newsletters have been sent through the emails and so on. And of course, that can have a different type of, the techniques to assess that people are reading it, or at least try to try to absorb that information or no, by throwing a different form of like quizzes or surveys on the portal. That can happen in a classroom based session as well. So we deliver that content and try to assess whether people are trying to absorb that information, understanding, and started following that information to make as an organizational practice. Any questions so far on this? Please state your name and the role before you ask a question. You can unmute your mics. So no questions. Okay. So while developing the content, of course, that, as what we are saying is the one of the core objective of delivering a cybersecurity awareness program is to get your people familiarized with the current trends of cyber attacks around the globe, around the region, around your organization, or the in particularly focusing on your industry. So those areas, or that type of the awareness which we want to give, is about that falls into the different domains and different aspects. So this is one of the sample list of the sample topics have been presented. You can add, remove, or whatever that more the topics relevant to your organization can be added. These are very generic topics which are, I think, covers most of the areas within cybersecurity. That includes viruses, malwares, identity theft, mobile safety, authentication methods, inappropriate content usage, GDPR, data privacy, and phishing scams, and of course the ransomware as well. So while once the content has been established, the developed, and the theme and the topics have been selected, and based on that the content has been developed, now we need to deliver the content in a way whatever relevant and more appropriate as per your organizational psychology or organizational setting. Some organizations prefer having classroom style trainings. Some people prefer having virtual sessions which can be recorded and replayed again and all that. And some people the posters, all the banners and videos, some all that electronic content can be developed and uploaded to your corporate portal to be reused. However, based on the experience, that one thing what I can recommend is that only that developing the content and uploading to the portal so that people can access and reuse it does not help much, until unless we need to have these classroom style sessions. Classroom based sessions will give the chance to the people to ask the questions and make the session more interactive and clarify the concepts, and they will realize the importance of such topics, and seriousness, the message of seriousness will be delivered from the management as well. Once we are trying to develop the content and trying to deliver the content within the organization, that delivery and the content type has to be tailored based on certain audience groups, because not everyone is in the same level. So these audience groups have been defined as per the level and the nature of information they're going to deal with. from a security standpoint. That is why, as per the leading practices, these have been classified as the three groups. One is the executive and the management officials, which are not interested with your firewalls, information, policies, and these procedures and details. They want to just see the high level picture, the dashboards. Simple one slider, two slider information to give an overall big picture, and that's it. Then we got privileged user, which means the IT people. They are our techie techs. They want to know each and every technical detail, the firewalls, the ports, the malwares, the why, how frequently we need to do the VAPTs, what are the SOC, what type of incident SOC is picking up and reporting, and our incident triage, and do we have a SOAR platform in the place, how the SOAR platform is responding to such incidents, and. So all of these are related to the IT people, which actually all the technical stuff. The third, which is the biggest population, which is the end user staff, which is business users. The content which will be developed for them will be of simple English, business language, so that they can understand. And we will try to avoid such like technical jargons like bandwidth and malicious activities and the payloads. We will try to deliver the message in a simple layman business English to them. Considering these guidelines, we will develop the content in specific to each audience group. Anyone have a question so far? Pin drop silence means like either everyone is well understood or not understood at all.
Okay, just to negate this myth, I'll raise a question.
Please.
The person who is going to develop this content and deliver and present, which category of these three users he falls in? Is he privileged user or
Brother,
executive?
can you please, if you don't mind, state your name and the role in the organization?
Yeah, my name is Javed Ahmed and I'm working as IT manager.
So, Brother Shoaib, I got a question. The primarily such awareness programs are been executed by your information security team. Generally, if the security team is not big enough in your organization, generally these are been executed by the outsourced consultants. So either of the one who has a good knowledge about the security, cyber security and these trends, and have an experience in delivering such trainings can do that. But these audience groups are the audience groups means the audience at the receiving end, not the delivery, not the person who's going to deliver it. Okay. I hope I answer your question.
Yeah, perfectly. Yes.
Anyone else? Okay, so let's move on. So this is some of the sample content which I can bring to you just for a show, like these are the stickers or the wallpapers or the post mask, the what do you call the posters which can get it printed off, because currently we are in the Middle East, and then in Middle East the first preference or the first official language is Arabic. So the language plays a very important role in communicating these messages effectively. So that is why we cannot ignore the importance of Arabic language in this region. So the biggest challenge in delivering cybersecurity awareness programs around the region for me was delivering the same message in a right way in Arabic language, which means that several technical terms which cannot be properly translated in Arabic, and the message becomes vague. So the language plays a very important role even when it comes to the English. That is why, I mean, in the previous slide I was saying that the language has to be carefully selected while delivering such sessions, even the classroom-based sessions. The person who is delivering a session to the executives, the language, the vocabulary, the terms you're going to use to deliver, to present the cyber risk portfolio, the overall cyber risk exposure of your organization to the executives of the organization, the selection of words will be different than normal operational staff. Similarly, we can use heavy jargons and technical terms with the IT people, but not with the normal business staff. So I think I'll be the 5 minutes left for this session timing, and it's going to expire the link. So I'll try to finish before that. So this is one of the example which I brought to present as a dashboard of a phishing simulator. Now, what exactly phishing has to do in this overall thing? First of all, let's define what is phishing. Phishing with the PH here is a technique, a social engineering technique, which means a, a cyber attack launching technique to exploit human weakness or vulnerability, which means generally, I think all of us who are participating in this session today must have got some sort of an SMS or email or WhatsApp that you have won the lottery of 1 million dinars or something, that's a scam. So that is something which is basically a trap which is been sent to you with a vulnerable link. So once you click that link, your weakness within your machine or your mobile has been exploited, and that malicious code has been transferred to your device and takes the control over by and will start sending the information back to the hacker. So phishing is generally a one acceptable technique which is being used to send a scam mail to the big population in your organization, and we see like how many people actually falls into that trap. More bigger the number is, which means the more there is a need to run the awareness sessions frequently, which means that overall maturity, cybersecurity awareness maturity index is quite low. So phishing is one, and now we know the solutions, and this is one of the techniques where we assess the existing cybersecurity awareness maturity of your organization, and accordingly, like we plan the program, how the execution of the overall cybersecurity program, and how frequently the number of sessions should be, and what topics should be there, and so on. Such as, now imagine the FIFA World Cup in Qatar going to happen in 2022, but people like us, we started receiving the lottery tickets from now, and there are many people who actually fall into that trap. Oh my god, that we got that FIFA World Cup lottery ticket now free of cost, which is of like $500. So that is where basically there are awareness is required that how to identify such malicious mails who have such vulnerable links, which basically can exploit a vulnerability on your machine. The next is awareness manager dashboard of one LMS solution, which basically gives the overall the links. And if you can see on the upper left corner, the module status, you can define your strategy based on the topics. You can define the modules within an LMS, learning management solution. That could be compliance and agreed upon procedures, social engineering, mobile devices security, password security, malware, phishing, and so on. And then you can assign each and every module to the different audience group, so that to make it must that they have to attend it, and you can see the progress of people attending that thing. You can track the progress of people attending, because once you launch such programs or such modules into the LMS in your corporate portal, people has to attend it, otherwise, or have to at least like go through these modules so that they can be understand and grasp that knowledge, so you can monitor that, you can track the progress of it. And same way you can basically divide the different dashboard presentation, which includes the department wise distribution and overall awareness index is your corporate index value, which basically from this number you can estimate the overall awareness maturity level of your organization. That's where my session ends. If any questions, we can move to the next session and then next link, and we can have our Q&A session.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ahmed Raisa. Well, we'll continue the question and answer session to the next. Actually, we'll take it to the next session because anytime we are going to be disconnected. Okay, so I will reinitiate the session.